What's up guys, Peepo again, and this video is actually going to be about some more mesh. I've done reviews before from these guys, but more mesh from Barrier Lacrosse Company, and this time is actually one of my old-time favorites when it comes to mesh, and not so much used anymore, but 6D mesh, or monster mesh as it used to be called when I was still in school. Some old hands still call it monster mesh, and a lot of guys call the goalie 12D monster mesh, but the original monster mesh is 6D mesh. And overall, I just love 6D. It feels a lot like a traditional, to me at least, and it makes the pocket a little bit lighter because there's not so much material going into the actual mesh itself, because there's less diamonds, therefore less material, but it's definitely thick enough to where it's not supposed to really rip. But so I definitely wanted to get a hold of this because I've been hearing some good things about Barrier Lacrosse's 6D, and I didn't want the wax stuff because I'm kind of getting over wax mesh for the most part. So I wanted to try out their semi-hard because I've liked their semi-hard 10D before pretty well, and I've strung it up for guys and I really like it. But so I wanted to try out their 6D because I had heard that it's a little bit bigger than your traditional ones from like Stringer Shack or Lax or House of Mesh or even Stick Doctor, I believe. But I've tried 6D from all over the place, and I gotta say that Barrier Lacrosse is probably my favorite 6D mesh now. This is the semi-hard version. They have soft, so raw, so you can coat it or whatever you want to do. And then they have semi-hard, so it's got the polyurethane or whatever they use to make it a little bit harder, water resistant, and so on. And then they have their wax version. Raw version, I think, is $5. You add on another $1 for semi-hard, and then you add on, I believe, $6, $7 to get the wax version. But even if you don't want to get into the wax anymore, like myself, kinda, I would definitely recommend getting this semi-hard version because it's not too hard coming out of the packaging. It's actually rather sturdy but soft. So I guess you could compare it to, I would say, the new Stringer Shack 2X in hardness. So right out of the package it feels hard, but then you stretch it out, it breaks in as you string it, which is awesome. And then when you're actually cradling with it and stuff, ball's moving around, and it just breaks in almost instantly. It's not too hard to stretch. When you actually do a 5-diamond top with it, it actually spaces out perfectly for most heads. I've strung it up in a Proton U before I put it in Trench here, which is my Snoz. It used to be Skittles. But before I strung it up in this, I put it in a Proton U. And we should all know a Proton U is one of the wider heads out there, and it stretched perfectly. I just wanted to test out the top string, and that was it. And it stretched out perfectly, lined up really well with the holes. And then I moved it over into this stick because the Nas is one of my favorite heads out there, and I always wanted to put 6D in it. So I threw the 6D in it to see how it strings and how it throws and everything, and strings up so well. The top string stretches, like I said. The sides really stretch out to where you want them to. It's not so much you have to really work to get it for the sort of channel that you want. I didn't want a super aggressive channel. I'll actually use a ball, so it's not a knuckle channel like some people out there do. And so it's not super aggressive, and it's pretty much a mid-low, but kind of shifts high, so it shifts high up in there. So there's actually a lot of mesh to this. Sometimes with a 6D you end up having a little bit of short by about, it feels like it's short by about a diamond, maybe 2. And with this isn't actually all the mesh there was. There was about maybe an extra diamond and a half length with it. So if you feel like you need to have a higher pocket and you need a little bit more mesh in the pocket, there's going to be plenty of mesh there. And it actually ends on one end at the 5 diamond and at the other it ends at a 6. So you just flip it, and then you're ready to string it. So it strings up really nice. Like I said, it doesn't have to be too aggressive. It's because of earlier, like I said, of how soft but hard it is. It changes its shape very easily, so it's not like the old hard mesh to where you really had to pound it in to get the mesh to go at the angle that you wanted, or for it to fold in a certain way around a knot or anything like that. It's malleable, so easily malleable that I almost forgot that it's 60 almost, pretty much. When I went into actually passing, catching, and everything, I didn't have any shooters in, and it threw amazingly. It didn't get caught. It felt really fluid coming through the mesh because I thought it would be a little bit more halty because of the slightly bigger 60 diamonds than most 60 there is. But no, it just travels through. There's not a whole lot of lip or anything like that, just because of the mesh itself. And as you can see, I only need 2 shooters. I just wanted a little bit of snap, so I put in a Stringer Shack shooting cord that they supplied me with my other stuff that Joe sent me, and then a Stringer Shack shooting lace that I kind of just barreled / weaved, and comes off of those pretty well. It doesn't really get too halty against that, and overall I just have to say it's definitely the best 6D that I've had in a stick in a long time, especially fresh out of the bag, and I'm very satisfied with it. If you're somebody that's kind of more so liking 6D and you're just kind of tired of the monotony of a 10D, or whatever your feelings are towards mesh, if you want something a little bit different, give Barrier Cross Company's 6D a try. And I mean, if you've already tried it or anything like that, leave something in the comments. Leave your info. I mean, the only way people are going to know about something is if you share. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and I will check you later.